Welcome back. We long-awaited return of Stateside Speed.
Yeah.
I'm your host Sean Thompson here with Dennis and Aaron.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
So it's good to be back. I apologize that it's taken us so long to get back, but the schedules and the lifestyles that we live have not allowed us to get together. So it's just the way it is. So the dance season has been hectic as always. I will say, though, that the Fusion Omaha Dance Dads are now award-winning.
Award winners right here.
Prop
Two-thirds
dads.
of
Yes,
us.
yes.
And all you had to do
Dennis.
is get rid of me.
Yeah, no,
That's it.
Always be welcome back. So we
Well,
we
I
have-
appreciate that.
Yeah, we have winning traditions now. So we are looking
That's
forward
awesome,
to a
guys.
good year. So that anyway, it's been a exciting start to the season, especially if you are a McLaren fan. And we've had 2 races thus far this year. Again, I apologize that we haven't had a show prior to the season nor for the last 2 races, but we've had 2 races already with both McLaren drivers pulling out a victory, Lando in the first race, and then Oscar pulling off a victory here in the last race. And so season's going to be interesting. And so we're going to hit a lot of topics tonight. The recap basically is, for the first 2 races, in my opinion, has been pure dominance by McLaren.
Yep.
And I was a little worried after practice during the first weekend, and also with qualifying. It seemed like, well, maybe we're not totally there, but like the way that these guys have run these races the past 2 weeks, just pure dominance. And so I hope that it continues that way. But I think Ferrari is going to be a legit contender this year. I think if
they can not get disqualified.
Right. And with Hamilton there, Leclerc there, Verstappen's always going to be in the mix. And Mercedes, I think, has actually shown
good
to be very not surprising, but kind of surprising that they're kind of in the mix with the art. Russell is driving fantastic.
Yeah, I don't think
they're second in constructors right now.
Right.
With Russell.
I mean, I think the Ferrari thing helped.
Right. And I don't think anyone was expecting Antonelli to be as good as he has
been. He's really good.
He has been lights out,
fantastic.
The best rookie thus far. And we'll kind of hit on the rookies here later on in the show, but
because they're easy targets.
Yeah, but these 3 teams, I think McLaren, Ferrari, and Mercedes are probably the top 3 that we're going to be dealing with throughout the rest of the year. But having McLaren win the first 2 races is great. Again, a lot of bias from myself here, but
and a 1-2 last week,
right? Yeah,
2 weeks, whatever.
And Hamilton pulling off the sprint victory. I think no one really saw that coming, and so that was
kind of fun.
It was
cool to see.
So, but it's going to be a great year, and the fact that we have someone else besides Red Bull winning races is fantastic. And so I'm not going to lie, if it's a clean sweep by McLaren all year, I'm not going to be disappointed. But I don't think it's going to be
beautiful.
Yeah,
no,
I think
it won't.
I think we're going to have a lot of I think we're going to have a lot of race winners. I think we're going to have a lot of different teams winning. But we'll kind of get into that as the show goes on here. But really great start to the season thus far. But I think one of the bigger stories has been Red Bull. Verstappen has
still dominating the headlines early on in the year like they did last year.
Correct. And so we're not dealing with dick pictures, anything like that from their team principal, thankfully. But
thanks, Christian.
There has been a ton of movement already with their drivers. So they brought up Liam Lawson, which, my opinion, was a mistake. I think he's good, but Yuki deserves.
He hasn't proved himself yet.
Yuki has been driving in that second team for years and has, I think, proven himself more so than Danny Ricciardo, than really anyone else that's driven on that team. Yeah. And so how he got passed up last year, I don't understand. But now he gets a shot, and it's his home race coming up. Yeah. Correct. So I think he really has to show up.
I'm real excited for him,
I feel like there is this definite almost graveyard of second Red Bull drivers behind Max Verstappen. Because think about the people that have followed up behind Max. You're talking Pierre Gasly.
Yep.
Danny Ricciardo. now Liam Lawson, Sergio Perez, and
Albon.
Alex Albon.
Albon was the other one.
Yeah. And so, but these drivers won races in that Red Bull. But
a couple of them are doing well outside of Red Bull.
Right. But just have phased out. So, do you guys think does Yuki put up points this week?
I think he does. I think he does. This is what's going to happen, and this is maybe I'm getting way ahead of myself on the predictions. It's going to be like a top 5 performance, or he's not going to finish. It's going to be like one of those two things. He's going to be so aggressive. He's going to do, I could see him making a mistake somewhere, or just bad luck, because it seems to happen like that with home races with drivers, right?
And I can't think of him being worse than Lawson at this point in time, because Lawson's had a terrible start to the year. I feel terrible.
And he's also a better driver than what he's shown.
He is much better than that. But
it must just be
it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Right. And I think it'll be good for him to go back down to Racing Bulls and, have some more time. They're not pulling the old Nick DeVries and be like just straight up booting him out of there. And DeVries has done great in the World Endurance Challenge. He is a solid driver.
Well, that's the funny thing is the worst drivers in Formula One go and dominate all these other series because they're amazing athletes.
Because they're just great drivers. And so, it will be interesting to see how Yuki does. I think Yuki's going to thrive in that second seat. Personally,
I hope so.
I think he's going to have many, many top tens throughout the year. I wouldn't be shocked if Yuki wins a couple races.
I'd love to see Yuki win.
But I don't think that car is what it has been. I really, really don't. And so I think the true talent of Max thus far has kept them where they are with that car. And this could be the sign of that they're just way behind the 8 ball when it comes to the other teams that have been performing massively with
everyone
McLaren,
caught up
Mercedes and Ferrari.
Obviously McLaren did last year, but towards the end.
Because you look at the way that the drivers talk about how Max drives, and he's just baseline on another level compared to everyone else. And so you can put him in anything and he's going to drive that thing full tilt versus a lot of other drivers probably wouldn't do that with the type of car that they're in. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how the rest of the year goes with Red Bull. I will not, for one, be sad at all if they are not in the top 5, but I think they'll be in the top 5.
They'll be top 5.
Overall, but
Max alone will keep them there.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
But is he going to stick around if they have a year like that? If they finish 4th or 5th, is he going to? This is the last year of his contract, right?
It is, and I don't know.
Are we going to get one of these like Lewis Hamilton stories coming up?
No, I think another team will throw a lot of money at him and give him an offer he can't refuse. And I'm looking at a green team that starts with Aston. So, because Stroll is going to do whatever it takes to win. And I think
except for
kicking his son off the team. So,
which is what he needs to do.
Correct.
That's literally the move.
But they haven't been performing very well this year. And that brings me perfect segue into my next topic. Is Aston actually going to be worth a damn this year? Because they've kind of been in this middle, like they started off the year fantastic last year. This year, they are way towards the bottom of the pack already. Fernando Alonso, to his credit, I think, he
had bad luck here last race.
But even with how they've been driving lately, they're not cracking the top 10 with that car, I don't feel like. And so I don't know necessarily that it's the drivers. I just think it's a crappy car.
I mean, Stroll's got 10 points right now.
Yeah, but
Adrian
Newey coming in not until next year. So they still have a whole nother year really until they have Newey's innovations coming into play. So who knows? But, are they going to be, all these teams always kind of are clamoring for number 5. Right in the midfield pack, like they're looking for number 5 because the money increase from 6th up to 5th is massive. So, do you guys see Aston finishing in the top 5? I say no.
I'm gonna say no.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just kind of looking at the team standings right now, and I'm like, okay, can they leapfrog any of these? Maybe they're in 7th right now, by the way.
Right.
Maybe they pass Haas. Maybe.
Yeah.
But Haas is looking pretty good.
Haas isn't bad. Haas isn't bad.
And Aston is. So, yeah, maybe my answer is no.
Right.
I don't see it.
No, I don't think so either.
Unless something dramatic happens, right?
I still see you stroll into the wall and be like, can you save it? No, I'm in the wall.
Yeah. Hey, Lance.
But
yeah, he's going to regress to his median here in the next few races. I'm sure of it.
But at what
he'll
point,
hit a wall soon. Don't worry.
What is the impetus for his dad to be like, "You're out, dude. Like, I can't do this anymore." How much more time do they give him?
I don't know, man. It's his son, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
like the nepotism.
I mean, he's probably tried to do it a few times, and Lance was probably like, "But don't you love me, Papa? Don't you love me,
Papa?
Yeah,
let me drive, Papa."
Yeah.
I assume that's how it goes. Yeah,
Maybe
that's how I imagine it.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll buy another team and have like a junior team like Red Bull does. And like, well, you can drive.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I just don't get it. I feel like they need to go a different route.
I know.
If they're happy with mediocrity, then continue what you're doing because that's where you'll stay.
I mean, here's the question. If he got fired, would any other team sign him?
Nope.
I don't think so. I really don't.
No.
So
if there's no market for your driver, then why do you have your driver, right?
Right. Yeah. So. Well, it's like Mazepin when he drove for Haas. The only reason he had a ride was because his dad literally funded the team.
The Russian
and
oligarch.
He was awful.
Oh, so, Mazepin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but who knows? We'll see. Maybe they'll have some kind of massive upgrade. I don't see it.
And it's a shame because I like Alonso. I'd love to last year at the beginning of the year when he was getting podiums. It was kind of exciting to see, and I was rooting for him, but
he's just an old dog, just trying to do his thing, and
just give that man a car.
May have passed him.
How about him and Checo with Cadillac next year? Let's do that.
There you go.
That'd be fun.
That would be amazing. So
that would be awesome, actually.
I can't. Yeah, having Cadillac around next year is going to be fantastic. So,
they'll bring in Herta probably from
probably.
Indy. That's their boy, so they can bring in the young guy and then bring
drivers.
In,
yeah, for sure. So
that's fine.
But kind of speaking of well-established teams, I think Ferrari. We kind of mentioned this earlier with kind of how the season has started thus far, but I think Ferrari is going to be a legit contender. I really personally see the Constructors' Championship coming down to Ferrari and McLaren. I think those are the two top overall teams currently right now. And I would not be shocked to see Hamilton win multiple races this year. Leclerc, I believe, will win multiple races this year. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be one of those years where the Drivers' Championship is going to come down to the last weekend, which is fantastic. But I think Ferrari legit has a chance not only to win the Constructors, but I think they got a couple drivers that could win the Drivers' Championship too.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's Leclerc. I think it's Hamilton.
Yeah.
I think Hamilton has a legit shot at winning the championship again this year. But kind of wanted your guys' input. Kind of what do you think?
I don't disagree with any of that.
Is it beyond time for Hamilton, or has this been kind of a rejuvenation for him on the new team?
I think there's a rejuvenation. Yeah. I mean,
he's got something to prove.
Going into the season, he was like all his testing and practices were like a full second behind Leclerc.
Right.
But now we know he was just figuring out the car, right?
Yeah.
It's a completely different
And what's
car.
also been fascinating is to see in real time, like, because the conversations he has with his engineer are like, well, we're telling you to do this. He's like, yeah, I don't care. Don't talk to me
you're
about
stupid.
That. Yeah.
Don't bother me with that.
Yeah, like, I don't care, dude. Like, I know what I'm doing.
I'd like to refer you to my trophy case.
Right. So I think once they get that kind of stuff figured out, it's going to be...
Yeah. I think after the summer break, he's going to just take off.
Yeah.
I mean, where would he have finished last week if he wasn't DQ'd? I don't remember exactly where he was.
I believe he was fourth
or fifth, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, he would definitely be in that mix right now. I mean, he's already...
Right. And the reason they were so
he's
far
in ninth
down,
right now, but he lost a ton of points.
Right. Mm-hmm. And the reason they were down so far, even to begin with, was, again, it was Ferrari being Ferrari. It was weird strategy. They tried to stay out in the wet conditions, and it just bit him in the butt, you know. So I think if they would have done what everyone else would have done, I think it would have been a totally different. Well, they still would have been DQ'd anyway, but
they would have been DQ'd. But yeah,
it would have been a different race.
And I believe, Sean, 2 years ago when you and I were in Austin, Hamilton was DQ'd for the same exact thing.
It was,
and I think he would have finished P3. Well, he finished P3, but then was DQ'd, and everyone moved up.
Right. So
same thing. That plank.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's just a crappy reason they get DQ'd.
It is.
Really, really is. But again, having a lighter car too, again, it's just kind of like,
Yep.
I guess any advantage you can try to get. But I have seen a lot of videos complaining about the McLaren back wing when they're at full speed. There's this
do they call it like mini DRS or something? Yeah, I know.
But they've actually restricted it even further. So the newest FIA regulations, so they can have literally a playing card's width of change in the back wing during full load, with full speed. So they were allowed like
playing card. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, how the hell do you measure that?
I don't know. But apparently they're going to. So, yeah.
Are they going to run out on the track and
as they go by? I'll get the next lap.
Just have someone start throwing cards at people, like yeah. But so we'll see. But I honestly think it's going to be. I think the championship between not only the drivers but the constructors is going to come down to a Ferrari driver and a McLaren driver. If things kind of continue the way they have been. So,
and you can't forget about Mercedes either.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially if Antonelli keeps driving the way he has.
And I think Russell will probably pull off a couple races.
Right. Russell's a good driver. I can't stand the guy, but he's a good driver.
He is. So we'll see. So maybe these moves for all these drivers has kind of paid dividends for them and for their teams really too. So much more to be seen. Obviously, we still have 22 races to go, so we have plenty of season to go, which is fantastic. So
it makes me happy.
Even Sauber has scored points already.
Right. So. Yeah. Which is
amazing.
Leaps and bounds ahead of where they were last year at this time. Or all year, really. So.
All year, yeah. They waited until, the second to last race? They were well over a calendar year from scoring points when they did last year.
Right,
so First race this year, they got points.
Yep. Right.
It's improvement.
It is. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the year goes for them, obviously. And then with Audi coming on board next year.
I was going to say, Aaron, you going to start buying Audi stuff? At what point do you start buying the Audi merch? Is it too early?
It's available.
I think it's
available. Whenever it's available.
So the last time I had my car and I said, when are you guys going to start selling F1 merch? And it's coming, but we're not really sure when. Because they have a whole rack of jackets and shirts and hats and everything in the showroom. And
sure.
So, I'm sure it's coming. So
once they unveil and it'll be
so exciting to have two different and new teams next year, which will be fantastic.
I know I might even buy some Caddy stuff. Why not?
Yeah.
Now that's an American team I'll root for.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So
Haas can suck it.
Right. But. And they've only been okay thus far this year. But
they're improving. They got better drivers.
Who knows? Who knows what will happen with them? So, and speaking of that, Haas has a rookie driver.
Yep.
They have Ocon's obviously their other driver, but I think one of the bigger storylines of
rookie-ish,
rookie-ish, yeah. One of the bigger storylines I think of the year is going to be the rookies because there are a ton of them this year.
It's crazy.
So, it's like 5. Isn't
I'm
there?
still
4,
not
5?
used to it. I'm like, wait, who's that again?
Yeah, because you've got Isaac Hadjar for Racing Bulls. You've got Kimi Antonelli on Mercedes. Jack Doohan on Alpine. Ollie Behrman is at Haas.
Mm-hmm.
And
Bortoletto
at call. So the Sauber fan chiming in. Perfect.
Of course. Keeping us honest.
Yeah. So
it's easy to forget.
Yeah. So the first weekend in Australia was an utter disaster for the rookies.
Yeah, 3
Not
to 5.
shocking with the wet terrain and everything like that. All of them crashed. Every single one of them crashed. And within the first lap, I feel like for the most part, with the exception of Antonelli, because he scored the points.
Wasn't he?
He drove that
something?
thing like
I feel like he finished like
stole
P7.
it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
he drove awesome in that.
Yeah, and he did spin. Antonelli did spin out at one point during the Australian Grand Prix, but
I want to say he moved
he
up
finished
like
the race.
what 14, 15 spots
Oh
or
yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
Like it was
Uh-huh.
nuts how far
because
he
both
came
him
up.
and Russell finished, really high up in the points. But Duhan was out right away. I mean, but even the season guys,
Hajar was like crying. He was. I mean,
he
felt so
crashed
He was
on
in
the
the formation lap.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
formation
Yeah.
lap. Right.
Yeah. So, but it even hit the biggest and most seasoned of drivers because Sainz was out. Alonso crashed during this. I mean, so it was a tough race, and so, but I think this rookie group is going to bring a lot of excitement. I think Bortoleto has huge upside. I think. He is going to. I wouldn't be shocked if he scores points this year. I would not be.
I feel like he will.
Yeah, and I think I personally the one to watch is Hajar, really, because I know he had the terrible. I mean, he didn't even race the first race whatsoever, but that car is sneaky quick.
Yeah,
and he's not a bad driver. And
they're not going to finish in 9th where they are right now.
No. I don't.
They're going to score some points. I bet you Lawson starts getting into a groove too.
I bet he does too.
I mean, at least maybe I'm
takes
hoping
the pressure
that.
off of him. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he'll probably be a little more comfortable.
Yeah, there's a massive amount of pressure being the second driver behind Max. There is. But again, I think Yuki is going to benefit because he's been in the game for so long versus Lawson hasn't been. He just, he came and replaced Ricardo last year and then got elevated immediately. And I think too soon, in my opinion, which obviously was true because he's now back down after 2 races. Yeah. So a lot to be seen there, but I think Lawson has huge upside. I've always liked Duhan. I just think that car sucks and that team sucks. So I just think it's unfair for him, but we'll see.
This is what happens. This is what can't all get Mercedes your first go.
No. And Antonelli's going to be good, and that car is always going to be good, and that team's always very, very solid. And he's going to be a force to reckon with in the future, 100%. So, but he's also, it's kind of like I think that was the goal of signing him to Mercedes is, Mercedes missed out on Max when he was that age and that part of his career, and they don't want to do that again. Because could you imagine a Max Verstappen, how he's been at Red Bull for the past 4 years in a Mercedes?
I don't know
that I don't know that it would have worked because you would have had Hamilton there.
That's true.
And Hamilton and Rosberg back then did not mesh well whatsoever. And
not at all.
It's hard to say that they'd have the same success, but I think Antonelli is going to be. I think he's going to have to play second fiddle to Russell this year unless something drastically changes, and he's just light years better than Russell, but I don't see that happening. So I think it's going to they're going to run into the same issues I think that McLaren ran into last year with Oscar and Lando.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, Kimmy's pushing, and he can push George, but they're like, these are the rules. George is the more senior driver, so we have to let him, do his thing. And I think McLaren's going to struggle with that this year too, because they have 2
so far they're playing nice
drivers.
with each other.
Yeah, they are. But it gets down to it. I don't think they're going to play nice. And so
it's early yet.
Yeah, and it just can't hurt the team. And like with the race last week, there was no question. Like Oscar was better. Lando didn't even qualify in the same route, in that same area. He finished in second, which is fantastic. But Oscar was by far the better driver last week. And so so I think that's just kind of how they have to play. It's a good
problem to have.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
just hopefully they if they continue to take turns at some point, if they're 1 and 2 and the drivers, they're going to there may be some drama, right?
Yeah, there will be. But you think about where McLaren was last year at this time. We were all
pissed.
They were in the
We were like, what is happening?
They were terrible.
Yeah.
And now they're finishing.
They turned it around so fast.
Yeah. And so, it's really remarkable, and I really hope that keeps up. But I think the rookies are going to be really, really fun to watch this year. So I'm really looking forward to that and kind of see how they progress.
It's fun to see new names in there,
right?
And new talent,
and so it's going to be a really good time. So there's just so many good storylines this year thus far, which I think is there's always good storylines in Formula One, but this year I think is better than most years, which is fantastic. So
well, and it's for the right reasons, like
right
on the track, not anything
right, yeah,
extracurricular. Nobody switching
no
teams
weird
right
stuff
away.
at Red
Yeah,
Bull.
nothing.
Right. Yeah, it's not Hamilton saying, "Well, I'm going to Ferrari next year." This year hasn't even started yet.
Yeah, piss
I know.
off,
Yeah.
Mercedes.
That's fine.
Yeah. Oh, awesome.
So, but with that, it is race week this week.
Yes.
So we had a week off last week, but we're back going to Suzuka this week to the Japan Grand Prix. This was a race that Verstappen won again last year, but had a pretty solid. This was, they've moved this race way up this year. This is usually kind of a middle of the road race during the year. It's later in the spring, but they moved it up to number 3 because I'm not sure why. I think they're just trying to keep everything kind of contained in
China,
the
and
same
Japan,
part
maybe.
of the world.
Yeah, the traveling.
Australia,
So I think
China,
they're kind of cut down on travel as much as they can. So yeah, Australia, China, 2 weeks ago, and now Japan this week. And so a fabled track, a famed track. You got a lot of storylines going. Like we mentioned before, Shinoda, his first race at Red Bull at home, on his home track. I think McLaren's going to be quick again. Same thing with Ferrari, Mercedes. And with Max, Max will be the same way too. But what do you guys see? Any predictions for the week? We'll kind of start with, race winners. What do you guys think? Who's going to win the race this week?
You want to go, Aaron, or you want me to do it?
Sure. Yeah. I think it's going to be too much to not have a Verstappen win. So I feel like he's going to, especially with Yuki coming in, he's going to push him. And for the reasons that you mentioned earlier with Yuki, he's going to push hard, being his home race.
Right.
So I think something wonky's going to. He's going to be doing well. Something wonky's going to happen. It's going to push Max. I think Max is going to end up P1. McLaren's solid there. I think Norris is going to be P2, and I like Antonelli P3.
Ooh, I like it.
Very nice. All right, Dennis, what do you think?
All right,
we're going podiums now. So what do you think? Podiums?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, this is good. I like it.
Yeah, we're straight into the podiums and everything. Okay, so I'm riding McLaren until they prove me wrong, man. So I think we're going to flip it back the other way. I think it's going to go Lando P1, Oscar P2, Hamilton P3. Wow. And then it's going to go, I'm going to go to 5 to finish what I said earlier, right? And then it's going to go Max Yuki.
Okay.
I think that's how I see it.
Red Bull 4,
Leclerc won't even be top 5.
Wow. Okay.
Top 10.
I think Hamilton's going to prove something. Yeah, he'll be top 10.
Okay. Well, I'm going total homer. Lando 1, Oscar 2, Russell 3.
Oh, okay.
And then I think I agree. I think the Red Bulls finish 4th and 5th. But I feel like Yuki will finish ahead of Max.
Oh, it's going to go the other way. I like it. I like that. Oh, God, that would be awesome. That would be
awesome. His first race on the
Japan, the crowd will flip
go nuts.
their shit
if
he beats Max.
It would be fantastic. So I think give him the car. I think Yuki's going to do really, really well on that team.
He's going to push hard.
Yeah. So I think this is going to be good for Red Bull. And I think it's going to be good to push Max a little bit. I mean, he had Sergio kind of pushing him at the beginning of last year. And then Sergio just really, really fell off after that. And I'm not really certain why. But I think Yuki, he's been wanting this for so long. He's going to push hard. He's going to drive hard. And
he's kind of like a little bulldog and doesn't take shit. Yeah. So I can just see him not caring if Max is... Right. Yeah. With all the Max shit, just fuck off. I'm going to do my own thing.
Yeah, he's like, you've had your time. Now it's my time. I'm going to, I want to be the world champ, and I want to do my best to win races for this team. So I think it's going to be fantastic. So I will say, I'm going to go bold prediction.
Oh.
both Williams in the points this week.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Both Williams in the top 10. So Sainz, I think, has been underperforming. Obviously, he wrecked first race, and last week just had some bad luck. So, but I would say Sainz. I'm going to say Sainz 7th, Albon 9th.
Ooh, I can see it.
Yeah. So they got a quick car.
They do.
I mean, they got a fast car.
They're on the up and up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, with that, it's good to be back.
Awesome.
It's good to be talking racing. I'm hoping in future episodes to talk a little bit more IndyCar too.
Okay.
And so we'll try to interplay that. I have not been able to watch a race yet. I know the St. Petersburg race was super close. The race at Thermal was good.
McLaren's I did watch both of those. So McLaren's doing really
had good
well.
Results at both of them. I think they finished second in both.
Pelot's doing his Max Verstappen thing though, just winning everything.
Yep. So I'll try to interplay. So it is stateside speed, so we got to bring a little stateside flavor.
As long as we don't talk about NASCAR, then I'll keep joining you.
And if you're looking for NASCAR talk, if you're looking for NASCAR talk on our show, you'll be extraordinarily disappointed because we will not talk about it. We'll talk bad about NASCAR, but we're not going to talk about NASCAR. So,
Sean, before we close, should you tell the listeners what the three of us will be doing this year? Stateside Speed is going on the road. So
Stateside Speed will have probably a live show.
Yeah.
In Austin,
we totally
Texas.
have to do that.
Yeah.
100%.
At the United States Grand Prix in October this year.
Woo-woo.
So I know the goal last year was to try to get me on the pit crew, not the pit crew,
the marshals, race marshals.
The marshals for the Las Vegas Grand Prix, but you had to live there, which whatever.
It's dumb.
So
did you look into it for this one?
I haven't looked into it yet. I'll look into it again. So they didn't open it until the summer anyway, but I'm sure they'll have the same rules. But that'd be fun. But so we'll be in Austin the whole time. So we're going to be there from practice 1 through race day. And we'll probably do not only a live show, or maybe not a live show, but a show. But probably some live drop-ins from the race, either on practice day. It is a sprint race, so we'll have sprint race day and everything else that goes along with it. So I am beyond excited. I can
probably going to have tons of social media stuff as well.
Oh yeah.
So I cannot
Stateside
wait.
Speed, social media stuff.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe, do all those things.
Yes.
Please do.
Please do all those things if you like what you hear. And like I said, we've been off the grid. It's just we're busy folks, unfortunately. I'm sure all of you are out there listening to us too. So we try to get this done every week as we can. We're going to hopefully get something done here after the race in Japan this week as well. It's kind of a quick recap, and then looking forward to the next race, which I just looked. Oh, it's what the hell did I say it was in? Was it Qatar? Was that the next
after
race?
Bahrain.
Yeah,
I think it's Bahrain.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Bahrain. So,
Yep.
So we'll try to have a quick recap of Japan and then get right back in because I think it's the next 3 weeks is race, and so try to keep up with it, keep you informed, keep you up to date. Follow us at Stateside Speed. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Threads, and also on the X as well, I believe. So I think we're on and YouTube.
I think so.
And so
YouTube's a big one, right?
Yeah,
YouTube.
Yeah. So follow, subscribe. We're trying to grow. We're trying to get bigger. Trying to keep it, on the state side of things. And so, like I said, it'd be nice to, keep things involved with IndyCar because that's an American, pure American racing
open
circuit.
wheel racing championship.
Open wheel racing.
Yeah, and it's a storied
right
circuit.
So we'll try to bring that into play. But again, as the sport continues to grow in the United States, I think learning more about it, being more interested in it, I think it's only going to continue to grow and grow. And so,
because it is going to grow.
Yeah. And so the fact of the matter is this, I will tell you this, the ratings from the last race in Thermal for IndyCar, they had less viewers for that race compared to a 3 a.m. start time in the United States for Formula One. by like hundreds of
which
thousands
is actually
of viewers.
which is kind of a shame, but I
Right.
also get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the race in
F1,
China,
man.
the race in China started at 3 a.m. in the United States, and they had more viewers at that time compared to the actual start time for the race that was in California.
Yep.
So, but it's just the brand, it's the growth of the sport, and so I think.
And I think Indy is right in the coattails of it too. Like I think they are growing and getting a little more attention. They just signed the big deal with Fox, which is not a big Fox fan, but as far as presentation goes, it's improved quite a bit.
Yeah, it will help quite a bit.
So I think F1's growth just helps Indy.
Correct. Yeah. It should. It really, really should. But yeah, no, I beyond thrilled to go back to Austin. I love Austin, Texas. Great town.
Awesome city.
First timer here.
Yeah.
Aaron's coming.
And you will be hooked, Aaron. I'm telling you. It is I know Dennis and I, the last time we went, we both said this was the funnest sporting event we have ever been to.
Ever.
And it is incredible. The people are great. The track's great. I watched the MotoGP this weekend because it was at COTA, and I'm just like, oh, I'm going to be sitting there. Yeah.
I know that turn.
Going there again.
Oh, yeah, that's where that beer tent was.
Yeah, I'm going to be sitting there in a few months' time. And so the drive down will be fun. It's a long drive, but it's totally worth it. And so, and Nick, our other buddy, Nick, will be with us.
Shout out to Nick, Aquaman.
Yeah. So
it's
going to be great. Yeah. Cannot wait. So again, thank you for listening. Like, follow, subscribe if you follow us on all of our socials and on YouTube, especially, and plan on talking with you all again after the next race here next week after Suzuka. So thanks everyone. Dennis,
thanks everybody.
Aaron, thank you again.
Thanks guys.
Gentlemen.
See you next time. Thank you.